Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome back out to the Boulevard. Anthony Oppermann with you for the Flying Squirrels pregame warm presented by our local Ford dealers. As tonight, the Flying Squirrels, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, get ready to wrap up this three-game series. Boy, it was a wild one last night. 3 hours, 43 minutes to play 11 innings, but the Flying Squirrels walking off with the win. Richmond, a pair of three-run rallies in that ball game, including one in the bottom of the eighth, to take a 3-2 lead. Looked for all the world like the Flying Squirrels were going to get the victory with relative ease last night after that. However, the Fisher Cats were able to tie it in the top of the ninth. The tying run coming in to score on a wild pitch from Tom Vasella. And then it was a stalemate till the top of the 11th when Ryan Goins of the New Hampshire Fisher Cats delivered a two-out, two-run double to right. At that point, it looked like the Flying Squirrels were going to fall in heartbreak fashion, but Richmond had one more trick up its sleeve as the Squirrels rallied for three in the bottom of the 11th, including a game-tying RBI base hit from Gary Brown and a game-winning single from Juan Siriaco. And the Squirrels picked up their third straight win, sent the Fisher Cats to their sixth straight loss, and Richmond now in position to get its second series sweep of the season. Flying Squirrels coming into tonight 31-34. Meanwhile, the Fisher Cats, a league worst 22-41, 19 games under 500. Pitching matchup brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Squirrels will toss left-hander Mike Kickham, 4-5, a 3.12 earned run average. And since the calendar has flipped to June, Kickham has performed well. He's made 2 starts this far this month, and he has been very good in both. Of course, the complete game shutout against the Erie Seawolves back on June 2nd. He allowed just 1 run in 6 innings in his last start, taking a no decision at Portland. So 1 run total on 6 hits allowed by Kickham in 13 innings of work thus far here in the month of June. He's feeling confident on the hill. Meanwhile, his mound counterpart, right-hander Chad Jenkins, has scuffled this season in a return to the Eastern League. Of course, he split last season between High A Dunedin and New Hampshire. Jenkins 2-6, a 6.35 ERA coming into his start tonight. He hasn't won since May the 4th, and he's certainly gotten roughed up in each of his last 2 outings since coming off the disabled list. He missed almost a month with a shoulder injury. So it'll be Kickham against Jenkins, 6:35 the scheduled start time for tonight's series finale. Should be a nice, comfortable night for baseball. Mostly cloudy skies currently, but 76 degrees, winds into the east-northeast at 7 miles an hour. It's a little more humid than it was last night, 58% humidity, but still, comparatively to what it can be this time of year here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, everyone around here will definitely take it. Game time temperature brought to you by the Flying Squirrels First Pitch Forecast. You can catch that prior to every Flying Squirrels home game on WTVR CBS 6. Much more to come here on your home for Flying Squirrels Baseball, Sports Radio 910. When we return, welcome in my broadcast partner, John Laser, to continue to break down tonight's series finale between the Squirrels and the Fisher Cats. That and more coming up. Keep it tuned right here. And welcome back to the ballpark, everyone. Anthony Oppermann with you for the Flying Squirrels postgame wrap as Richmond makes it 2 straight in this series over Bowie. The Flying Squirrels continue to trim their deficit in the Western Division wildcard race tonight. A 7-3 victory over the Bay Sox. Final totals brought to you by the Virginia Department of Transportation. For Richmond, 7 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Squirrels strand 5. And for the Bay Sox, 3 runs on 8 hits and no errors. Bowie leaves 6. Winning pitcher tonight is Richmond starter Chris Glore as he picks up the victory to improve to 4-4. Glore allows 3 runs on 7 hits and 6 innings of work. Strikes out 3, walks 1, throws a wild pitch. 97 pitches, 64 strikes tonight for the big left-hander. That's 2 wins in a row. First time this season that Glore has picked up victories in back-to-back outings. Losing pitcher is Bowie starter Rick Zagoni as he allows 7 runs on 8 hits and 6 1/3 innings, a strikeout and 3 walks, 103 pitches, 57 strikes for the lefty. He will fall to 4-4 with the defeat. 2 hours, 36 minutes to have the ballgame. Play in front of 7,733 tonight at the Diamond. Bay Sox lose their 3rd straight, now 68-61. Bowie will drop to 37-29 on the road. Meanwhile, the Flying Squirrels pick up their 2nd straight win to improve to 66-63. Richmond now 35-27 here at the Diamond. Here are those final totals brought to you by the Virginia Department of Transportation. Over the next 2 years, VDOT will be replacing 11 aging bridges on I-95. Due to this overnight construction, traffic through Richmond will go from 3 lanes to just 1. To avoid travel delays, please use 295 Route 288 at the 195 Downtown Expressway. Get details by calling 511 or log on to on95bridges.org. Taking out the trash, stat of the game brought to you by CFS. And that was really the difficulties of Bowie starter Rick Zagoni to work ahead in the count. Now, he got better as the night went along, but at the very beginning of this ball game, and certainly where this thing turned in the Flying Squirrels' favor right from the outset in the bottom of the first, Zagoni 33 pitches in the inning. Only 14 of those 33 were strikes. 19 balls, 14 strikes, and really all night long he was working from behind in the count. Now, the Flying Squirrels got pretty aggressive in the middle innings against Zagoni, and he ended up working several quick innings. But the bottom line was Zagoni was having to work from behind, and that was to his detriment. Of the 28 batters that he faced in the ballgame tonight, he threw first pitch strikes just 6 of the 28. Right from the start of the first 7 batters that he faced, he didn't throw a first pitch strike to any of them. He went 3 balls in the count to 4 of the first 7 batters that he faced. He walked a pair, and again, that really compounded Zagoni's issues early in this ballgame tonight. Helped the Flying Squirrels get out to an early lead, a big lead, and one that they wouldn't relinquish, even though the Bay Sox wouldn't narrow that gap in the middle of this contest tonight. Again, Rick Zagoni's struggles with his command. Your CFS taking the trash out of the game, brought to you by CFS, the Tri-City Regional Landfill, a one-stop shop for all your waste hauling needs. When we come back, we'll have a check of the out-of-town scoreboard, get you caught up on everything else going on in the Eastern League. Akron Arrows could lower their magic number to 6 tonight. It is 7 currently with the loss by the Bay Sox. We'll get you caught up on that score and more when we come back here on your home for Flying Squirrels Baseball, Sports Radio 910. Flying Squirrels get a 7-3 win tonight over the Bowie Bay Sox in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Richmond now within a pair of games of the wild card lead in the Western Division. Squirrels trying to pull even with Bowie. Richmond could get within 1 game with the victory in the series finale tomorrow night. As we continue here in the Flying Squirrels post-game wrap, time for one last check of your out-of-town scoreboard. Get you caught up on action elsewhere around the Eastern League. As mentioned, the Akron Arrows entering play tonight had a magic number of 8 to clinch the Western Division crown. That magic number trimmed by 1 with the Bay Sox loss tonight. So 7, and the Akron Arrows with the win tonight in Erie could drop it to 6. However, right now, getting all they want more from the Erie Seawolves, a club that snapped a 7-game losing streak with a victory last night over the Arrows. Right now, a tie ball game, all tied at 2, as plays to the top of the 9th inning at Jerry Utt Park. So certainly a good one there. Toru Murata and Ramon Garcia each allowing a pair of runs in the starting role. Seawolves scored a pair of runs to the bottom of the 6th to take a 2-1 lead before Akron knotted it up at 2 in the top of the 7th. And again, that's where we stand. Play in the 9th inning. Wild card race in the Eastern Division as New Britain came into play tonight, leading Reading by 1 game for the Eastern Division wild card. And speaking of wild, how about this ball game tonight at Metro Bank Park in Harrisburg? The Senators hosting the R-Phils, and Reading with a home run off the bat of Darren Ruff, his 32nd homer of the year, has tied this thing up at 9. Plays still in the top of the 9th at Metro Bank Park. Phillies had a 3-0 lead after 3. Senators tied it with 3 runs to the bottom of the 4th inning. R-Phils right back, though, with 2 runs to the 5th. Took a 5-3 advantage before Harrisburg scored 5 in the last of the 6th. Senators at that point had themselves an 8-5 lead. Reading, though, right back in the 7th with a couple of runs. It was 8-7 at that point. Run at the bottom of the 7th for Harrisburg made it 9-7, and then the Phillies scoring the final 2 runs to this point to knot it up at 9. Both starting pitchers giving up 5 runs in the ballgame. Brody Colvin allows 5 runs on 7 hits and 4 walks in 5 innings for the R-Phils. Chen Ming Wong getting the rehab start for the Harrisburg Senators. Gave up 5 runs on 8 hits in 6 innings. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks for Wong on the night. As neither of those pitchers will factor into the decision tonight. Cody Ashe, a career night offensively for Reading. 3 for 5 with a double and a pair of home runs. 5 runs driven in for Ashe, 3 runs scored. Meanwhile, James Skelton for the Senators, 2 for 2 with a double and a walk and 3 runs driven in. Justin Bloxham, by the way, has also hit his 7th home run in that contest for the Harrisburg Senators. Meanwhile, the New Britain Rockcats locked in a dogfight for the second straight night with the Portland Sea Dogs. Game tied at 2, playing the top of the 10th inning at New Britain Stadium. Of course, it was the Sea Dogs with a 4-3 extra inning win a night ago over the Rockcats. And Portland again trying to mess up New Britain's postseason plans. The Rockcats were holding on to a slim 2-0 lead at the top of the 6th inning when Bryce Brentz delivered a game-tying 2-run single. Chris Calavello picked up his 91st RBI. He appears well on pace to get to 100. Impressive for a guy who spent the last half-decade playing in the independent leagues. But right now, all tied at 2 in extra innings in New Britain. So certainly a couple of very close ball games to keep an eye on with Reading and New Britain. Again, those two teams separated by just one game in the chase for the Eastern Division wild card. Everything else is final in the league tonight. New Hampshire Fisher Cats, who came into play, winners of 5 straight, shut out tonight by the Binghamton Mets 1-0. Tough luck loss for Richmond product Dak McGuire. He gave up 1 unearned run on 5 hits in 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, but he does take the defeat. His league-leading 15th loss of the year. McGuire 5-15 this season for New Hampshire. Greg Peavy was stellar over 7 scoreless innings, gave up 6 hits. He struck out 6, walked just 2 to earn the win as he improved to 7-8, and the only run scoring on a 2-out error in the bottom of the 5th inning as the B-Mets again get the victory tonight, 1-0 at home over New Hampshire. Other final in the league tonight, the Altoona Curve, a shutout win over the Trenton Thunder. 5-0 Altoona with the victory. Jamison Tyone making his Double-A debut, of course, one of the highly heralded pitching prospects, not just in the Pirates farm system, but in all of professional baseball, and he lived up to the hype tonight in Trenton. 5 scoreless innings for Tyone, gave up just 4 hits. He struck out 6, didn't walk any. 67 pitches, 46 strikes. Of course, the Pirates have been keeping a very close eye on the amount of innings that he works this year, limiting them to just 5. That's the only reason why he was done after just 5 scoreless frames in the ballgame tonight. And Matt Curry gave him all the offense that he would need as the Altoona first baseman was 2 for 4 with a double and 3 runs driven in the victory for the Curve, their second straight. Meanwhile, Trenton ace Brett Marshall took the loss as he dropped to 13-6, giving up 4 runs on 10 hits and 6 innings of work. 7 strikeouts, no walks for Marshall. But again, he takes the defeat tonight. Trenton has lost 12 of its last 14 ball games. The Thunder free-falling down the stretch. And so, again, they fall tonight at home to Altoona, 5-0. And one quick update, the Reading Phillies have added 2 more runs in the top of the 9th inning against the Harrisburg Senators. Our Phils now have an 11-9 lead over the Sens. Top of the 9th inning at Metro Bank Park. Again, a wild ball game tonight, to say the least, as the Phillies trying to rally to get the victory tonight over the Harrisburg Senators and potentially, depending on what happens in New Britain, come back to catch the Rockcats in the Eastern Division wild card chase. Flying Squirrels take care of business at home. 7-3 your final at the Diamond. And that completes your check of the out-of-town scoreboard here this Tuesday night in the Eastern League. When we come back, we'll put this one to bed and get you ready for the series finale between the Squirrels and the Bay Sox. Richmond trying to narrow that deficit even more. We'll get you ready for the finale when we come back here on your home for Flying Squirrels Baseball. Sports Radio 910.